Hello, my dear addict friends. Welcome back to my virtual universe of true love here. Look, we even had some improvements since the last video I made. Now I have my creative space desk behind me. Hopefully we can do some hands-on art projects. Don't worry, different segment. Nothing that crazy for what we're doing today, which is called recovery homework. Now I really am working on changing the name of this segment because homework just doesn't really resonate for a lot of us adults. We put it off, we dread it, but really this stuff is in service of you, which is why I want to find a better name so it can be more appealing, more enticing. Anyway, forget the name. The activity, the self-reflection exercise we're doing today is called current versus future self. And this is a little bit of a variation on the first segment we did, recovery homework, which was addict versus true self, where I asked you to create a list on one side of a page with characteristics of your addict, then on the other side, characteristics of who you really are, your true self, your strengths and all the good stuff inside of you. Okay, so I usually give this assignment, the one we're doing today, current versus future self, to people I'm working with who don't necessarily identify as addicts, which is absolutely fine. That's not for me to say what you are or who you are. But still, even though they may not have a serious addictive disorder, they still want to feel better. They still find themselves staying stuck in cycles of self-sabotage, feeling really crummy from day to day, whether that's because of old patterns of anger or boredom or frustration or just kind of stuckness. Anyway, the idea behind this exercise, I'm going to ask you to use a couple of resources that I haven't before. They're optional, but they are good resources, which is why I am going to talk about them. The first one is called the feelings list, because on one side of the page, again, you're going to divide whatever you're writing on or writing with into two sides, current self and future self on the other side. So for current self, you're going to take a look at this sort of my general feelings list, right? This is a color blocked list of different types of feelings, many in different types of categories. We have over here on the far right sort of our fear-based feelings: anxious, insecure, lost, threatened. We have disgust, the black column next to that. We have love, the yellow column, which are typically associated with positive feelings, of course. This is what we're going for here in recovery, the headline being love-based feelings, because they usually are so nice to experience. But on this general feelings list, we also have angry feelings, grieving feelings, feelings of surprise. So whatever your current emotional makeup is from day to day, and by that I mean, which feelings do you experience most commonly? Literally think of yourself as you go through your day. Do you experience a lot of panic and frustration in the morning, let's say, while you're getting your kids ready for school or trying to get yourself ready for work, or even just to drag yourself out of bed? Do you experience a lot of fearful feelings? Take yourself through your work day or even your weekend days off. What types of events, circumstances, people do you typically encounter, and what kind of reaction do they get out of you? That's another way to kind of check in with yourself about what types of feelings you most commonly experience on a day-to-day basis. Currently, again, we're still kind of talking about the left side of the page here in this exercise, which is which emotions do you most commonly experience right now, just without any treatment, any self-reflection, any self-improvement, any recovery, or if you're in the midst of your recovery process, doesn't matter. whatever it is, if it's current, that belongs on the left side of the page. And I really want you to, kind of dig deep, look at this list if you need to, and come up with what I call kind of a core 12, at least 12 emotions that you commonly experience. Then on the other side of the page, and for this I am going to refer you to the good feelings list, which is a very different list. Not totally different, there is some overlap, but this is a very colorful and very positive in general list of what we think of as good feelings. None of those grieving feelings, none of those fearful feelings we saw on that first list. These are almost universally positive feelings. Now, having said that, there are clients I've worked with who have said, oh, no, I'm not comfortable feeling beautiful or uninhibited or wild. That's fair enough. That's totally fine. But the idea is on the right side of the page, as opposed to the left side that we just did, current self, you're going to talk about, or you're going to list those feelings that you would love to be experiencing much more frequently. Imagine if you had a perfect day. What feelings would be part of that perfect day? If you could have breakfast in bed, if you woke up on a tropical island, what kinds of feelings would those entice in you? Would you feel pampered? Would you feel wealthy? Would you feel kind? Would you feel loving? Would you feel present? The whole idea is that these are very personal to each particular person. My perfect day, my ideal feelings are not going to be the same as yours. That's totally okay. That's part of why we do exercises like this, because we want to figure out what we're about, not what everybody else is about or what everybody else thinks we should do. But what is personal, what is real, what is true for us. All right, so having shown you guys the feelings lists and how to do the sort of basic structure of this current versus future self exercise, I'm going to actually show you mine. Isn't that kind of crazy? Now, I've been doing these lists. I'm kind of the queen of self-reflection. I hate to brag, but for a long time, and that's why I've really tried to kind of use what I've done, created, and found useful for you guys too. But this is my list. I obviously did it on my computer because I like to move things around and I like to color code feelings. Yes, it's crazy. I have my own little taxonomy of emotional colors and what they mean to me, which I'm not going to go into here because they won't mean that for you. But over here on the left side, I have my current self feelings, at least kind of the worst case scenario, like a bad day. This is what I go through. Overwhelmed, testy, impatient, burdened, used, uncomfortable, right? I'm kind of playing it up a bit because that's the spirit of this exercise. We really want to dig deep for those uncomfortable, speaking of uncomfortable, emotions. But it's true that these are not my more flattering moments when I go through all of these. And then on the other end of the spectrum, this is kind of when I'm in my addict phase, like the high highs. I love to feel accomplished, excited about everything, and so beautiful. Nothing less will do, And now contrast that to what I came up with on the right. These are much more like, I don't know, there's just a spectrum of them, much more so than on the left side, which are all like lows or highs. Serious, calm, loose, connected, powerful. Some of them, are powerful words, like powerful, but some of them are not. Some of them are just thankful, funny, and that's because when push comes to shove, I don't like to feel crazy ups and downs throughout the day. I like to be in a calm, centered, peaceful place because for me that feels really good. And these are just kind of the rainbow, the spectrum of the other emotions that for me go alongside that help me feel calm and centered and more like who I am. So I'm always trying to grow into that, this list that you see here on the right. And I hope that whatever you come up with, however you come up with it, really inspires you to start moving from that left side of the page to the right side. That can help define for us what is right for me. We can think about it in terms of what feels right emotionally for me. And then from there, the direction becomes very clear or pretty clear, especially if we're in treatment, if we're in therapy, having someone help us with, okay, so what changes in thoughts or behaviors could prompt these good feelings in me now that I know how I want to feel in my day-to-day life. That's it for me. That is plenty of recovery homework. Man, I hope to never put you through an 11-minute video again, but there was a lot here. So bear with me. Let's keep going.